set up here. Make sure I have the actual live chat on. And then we can go. I can buy lots of flowers. I got the Miley Cyrus song stuck in my head real bad. Okay. Say, I am doing job stuff. That's about it. I'm doing job stuff. At some point, I have kitten milkmaid. I gotta feed the babies again. You'd think having a doe. Hello, hello. How are you doing? You'd think having a doe that just had kits, she would feed her babies, but hello, how are you doing? I am here. Danny got me a shake. He also picked up my feed for the night. I have like a month's worth of feed in the car that I'm going to have to go throw in the barn. But my Heinhold finally got here. My Orion feed finally got here. Been doing good. Just had a litter of New Zealand babies. Oh, I love New Zealand babies. They are so cute, and I love how fat they get and how quick they get fat. Like that is one thing I will say about like commercial breeds. They get so chunky so fast, and it's fabulous. I love it. Also, speaking of which, I picked up new syringes today because my other ones were like 5 ml and these are 3. Glorious. Really doubled in size and just exactly that's what I love about commercial breeds. They just chunk so fast. And it is the cutest thing. Cause like with your like heritage breeds, right? They don't get as big as fast. And it's like it's a thing, it happens, but it's not as great as freaking chunky commercial babies. But yeah, vanilla milkshakes just from In and Out. It's a thing. It's delicious. Now, should I be drinking it? No, no, I shouldn't. But am I going to? Yes. Yes, I am. And then I'm like multitasking. I'm trying to get some work stuff done. Of course, I'm always trying to get work stuff done. I will be starting out my rabbitry soon. Any tips? Oh, that's so exciting. Um, Always have extra cages on hand. That is like the biggest thing. Extra cages on hand at all times because let me tell you, you will have babies coming out your ears. And a lot of people don't think about how fast rabbits breed and how quickly it can just get out of hand. And having extra cages on hand is always like my rabbitry looks full right now, right? I have all of my breeder stacks filled, so that's 12 cages. Plus, I have 6 bucks. They look, it looks full. It looks like that there's a lot of them, but I have one, two, three. I have 4 36 by 36s full open. Then I have 3 24 by 24s open. I have 3 24 by 92s open. I have my 5 foot by 5 foot and my 10 foot by 10 foot. And if need be, I have my quail cages that are my outside cage coops that are open. So always have extra cages because you never know when you want to grow something out, or you never know if a rabbit's going to have like 15 babies at once. That's the big thing. And then always have infant gas drops on hand. Infant gas drops are like lifesavers when it comes to rabbits. Like, and if you get the off brand from like Walmart, they're like really cheap, right? And you can just have them on hand. Your rabbit ever gets GI stasis or bloat, you give them a bit of infant gas drops, helps either fixes the problem or it, like helps it, and it's just amazing. Um right. I'm just like sitting here. It's like, okay, who's in what cage? Like, I flipped some cages around today because I was breeding, and my breeder cages were a little like over full compared to what I thought they were. So I like flipped people around. So I'm sitting here like, okay, who do I have? And then I threw Emma in with Alpha, right? Because both my Rexes decided to be jerks. And I took Emma out, and Alpha was acting a little funny. I'm like, dude, are you okay? And I poked him because he was in the corner, and he jumped back. Apparently, he had a little too much fun with Emma because he was falling asleep in the corner all funny. And I'm like, just to be sure, I grabbed a cup of food and I threw it in there. I shook it a little bit, and he perked right up and came up to the front. I'm like, oh, so you're just busy from your trip with your girlfriend. Got it. He had me pressed because at first I thought there was something wrong with him. He was acting all tired. But it did give me a chance to trim his nails, which is always a thing. Because I'm really bad. I have my does on rotations, they're really good. But because I use my bucks so often, I don't trim their nails every single time I breed them. Otherwise, I'd be basically trimming them weekly, and that's just too much. So sometimes I get a little negligent on trimming the buck's nails when I should be doing it like every month. Sometimes I'll look in there and it's like, I don't think I got you this month. But yeah, it is really great when you can like sit here and go through who's in what cage. Like I can sit here and be like, Sadie is here, Penguin is here, uh, Emma is here, and then we go over to the next side and we have Lulu, then we have Cookie, and then we have my silver fox doe, Nina, and then we go over to the next side. And this is literally like you can go down and down and down because then it goes like Cyrax, Lizifer, then under Lizifer is Queen, and then you go over to the next side and you have Velma, and then under Velma is Mercury, and then under Mercury is Stumpy. So that's all my does. And then over here in this little corner, I have Vanessa and her meme babies, including Doggo, Doggo and her sisters. I think there's still only one, but I need to go through and recheck because I think I have three does and one buck in that cage, but I might be wrong. And they're getting to that age. I think they're either 5 or 6 weeks old, so I can definitely tell the difference. Um, but yeah, and it's one of those things. Um, but yeah. Um, but also I'm here. I have successfully completed all the requirements for a bachelor's degree, including superior academic achievement. That's a little much. Do I haven't like I have good grades, but I don't have like what do they consider superior academic achievement? Like I have like all A's and one B, but is that superior? Like what do they want for a GPA? I'm a part of an honor society, but it's not necessarily that kind of honor society. It's like a volunteer type honor society. Sometimes. So I've been trying out for government jobs, and government jobs have some really weird lingo. And sometimes they say weird things, and it like you have to click on this little expander piece to see what they mean by it, because especially if it's not by regulation, it's by staffer description, so the person who's filling the position for hiring can be confusing. But yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention the bucks I have. I forgot to go over the buck cages. Silly me. So I had that two stack, right? And we have Meatloaf and Zeus. And then we turn to the other buck stack and we have Eduardo, we have Strawberry, we have Alpha, and Wiley. That covers the bucks. I almost forgot my bucks. Mhm. Be above. Mhm. 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 I would say C. I think C is a good option. If C isn't a good option, I'll just cry. I'm also out of milkshake, which is depressing. It's okay, I have another drink though. Only that one is not milkshake. Let's see here. Make sure. I will say, it is my goal one day to have a rabbitry big enough to where I cannot name my rabbits. And I like have to look up records. Like, but then again, when it comes to like people, I have trouble with names, right? I'm really bad about names. But also, you know, um, there is that. I have 1 year specialized equivalent to the GS7 level in the federal service, which includes research in civilian law, planning, organizing, masters or equivalent. I'm looking into getting Palomino rabbits. Is there a big, so where I'm at, there aren't very, I don't think, um, I don't think I've ever actually seen Palominos at competition. So you wouldn't have much competition within the breed unless you have an area that specializes in Palominos, but you will always be guaranteed to compete in best of show. So you can compete against all the other breeds. But if y'all haven't heard my rant about the best of breed shows and how it always seems to be Rex, Mini Rex, Californians, um, Netherlands, or any of like the common breeds in Best of Show, then y'all haven't heard me rant. That's one of my biggest rants. So I don't see Palominos. I really don't. But there's nothing wrong um with getting a rare breed. Like I encourage you to get a rare breed because we need more people breeding rare breeds. When it comes to protective mamas, I don't have any because I would eat them. I'm very, very careful about I'm very, very careful about my animal's behavior within the barn. Because you gotta remember, I have two very young children. I have a 5-year-old that likes to grab and hold and help out in the barn. And then I have a 1-year-old that wants to stick her fingers in cages. So if I were to have an aggressive animal, that would be not good. So I'm very, very selective. And if I have an aggressive doe, she's not around. I will eat her. So now when it comes to like if we want to talk about the best mothers in my barns, either Sadie or Vanessa. Sadie is outstanding from a standpoint of she's an amazing foster. She has a very great survival rate for her kits. Um, she normally only has small litters though, but I can place more fosters with her. Her litters are normally around 4 or 5. Vanessa has my best survival rate. I've never had to foster off on her before, but she has my best survival rate. She's very reliant. She normally has about 5 babies. Last time she had 6. This time she had 4. So she's really great. And when it comes to attrition, it's not a problem. But they are great when it comes to being mothers. They are absolutely fantastic. Um, I wish more of my moms were like that because then I just wouldn't have a worry. Like I just had the worst luck with first time moms this past. So Emma, Lizzie, and Nina are all horrible mothers. They suck, but they're also all first time mothers. So that statement might change in my mind here in the next couple of months. Actually, probably next month because I just rebred Emma. I just rebred Lizzie and I'm thinking Thursday I'm going to rebreed Nina. Um, so we'll see if I still sit by that. But yeah. Um, okay. Need to, at some point after I'm done filling out the survey, I'm going to feed some babies. Like I said, I have my kitten milk, my very thick. Like that's one thing I will say when it comes to feeding baby bunnies, the milk is very thick because the biggest thing when it comes to feeding baby bunnies that you want to pay attention to is it's very concentrated from the mom. It's very enriched, it's very full of fat. So when you mimic that, basically you need a lot of calories in a very little amount. And normally I'm only feeding 2 to 3 mLs at a time, and you want anywhere from 10 to 15 mLs over the day. So, okay. But yeah, um, good at management meetings. That's something I'm excellent at and great at strategy. Preposition work products and anticipation of future needs of supporting efforts. Good at that too. What are you not good at? Going home and not working. I'm not good at that. Work-life balance. What is that? Never heard of her. But yeah. I will say I'm about as bad as I am in the rabbit barn. I will sit out in the rabbit barn for like 3, 4 hours if I was like if I had the capabilities to. I would just stay out there all day. I would just stay out there all day, play with my bunnies. I dumped pans today. I got the very top layer and the very bottom layer of pans done. So tomorrow I got to get the middle layers. But I hate doing the middle. Okay, so when it comes to my rabbit setup, I have metal roofing as my pans on the middle, and they're just so heavy and they're so annoying. But they're great. Is hand raising easy in domesticated rabbits because it's oh, it's incredibly hard. And hello, Dylan. How are you doing? Attrition rate when it comes to bottle feeding babies, just it's easier to accept that the entire litter is going to die. And if you have survivors, consider yourself lucky. Limit your expectations. Bottle feeding babies is a pain and it's so difficult. Um, so it's one of those things where it's not fun and it's not easy, and I hate every minute of it. But compared to puppies and kittens, like cats and dogs, at least you don't have to feed them every 2 hours. You only have to feed them like 2 to 3 times a day. Again, you only need 10 to 15 ml a day. So you try to save them, but it doesn't mean it works. But yeah, I'm just, I'm here. I am here. Like I said, I'm very disappointed with Nina and her capabilities. Um, but it's also one of those things where it's part of raising rabbits. You're going to have bad moms. You're going to have instances where no matter how hard you try, your rabbits are not going to accept a litter. And hopefully their milk comes in and you just have to bring the babies to them 2 times a day and they feed them. But that doesn't always happen. Again, 3 strike rule. 3 strike rule is my like key rule when it comes to raising rabbits, because I don't want, well, for one, you always want to make sure that you give them another chance after a first strike, because, mom or first time rabbit moms are just bad moms normally. So that first strike is there, and then sometimes you have an oops. So the 3 time strike is kind of where we put it. How did Lalo get past the 3? Lalo got past Lalo got past the 3 because I was dragging my feet on it, and I wanted to try him with 3 different does. I tried him twice on each doe after I got past like that 8-month mark, and on his final try, he bred with Vanessa. So he got past that third because on his very final try, he finally caught with a doe. Now, with that being said, um, I haven't rebred him after that. I'm looking at breeding him with probably Mercury here in the upcoming months, but I can't decide. But if he misses another, it's not a big deal. But if he misses like 2 in a row after that, then I'll consider it a third strike and he'll move on. Though I'm looking at, if he does hit a third strike, I'm looking at selling him more than hard culling him, because he does have the potential to be a really nice show bunny for somebody. We have 3 best of breeds on him as a junior, and he's decent as a senior. Our biggest problem was for a little while he kind of fell off there on weight, and he was right on the line for weight. So he's a bit of a smaller boy, but for a 4-H project, as long as they know, hey, he needs X amount of feed to kind of keep that weight up and to keep an eye on his weight, you can make a great 4-H project for someone. Now, with that being said, I won't be 100% sure in my choice to sell him until I see how these kits grow out. Now, if they grow out absolutely fantastic, I love the type, I love the fur, I might be more willing to put up with him not catching a doe every single time. It's kind of the opposite problem I have with Alpha. The worst part about bad moms is when you keep a doe out of a litter, have her for 6 months, breed her. Yes, 100%. That frustration. You put all of this energy and all of this time and resources into a bad doe, and it's so frustrating. Belle. Belle is one of my biggest examples. Now, I didn't raise her from a baby, but I had Belle for a year, and she gave me one baby that survived. Whatever the fuck Cookie is. Whatever Cookie is. Both of her parents are champagnes. Why does she look the way she looks? Freaking throwback recessive. That's why. But I still have Cookie and I still have Moose. But I digress. Moose isn't in the barn right now, but he's still around. My friend is just borrowing him. Because Moose has really great type. He's a little meat brick. He does really well in competition. But I was angry. I didn't want to just eat Moose, so I gave him to a friend for a little while, and she's safekeeping him. And she should be expecting a litter out of him this week. So that's exciting. And I know Moose has babies. Like, every time, we've bred him with things that aren't champagnes. And he has bred with Belle before. So he does breed, and he does have babies. And his previous owner bred him as well. So not too worried about his capabilities. I'm just aggravated with Belle. Belle's not even around anymore, and she ticks me off. Yeah. Almost done. This is only like a 20-part freaking survey asking really weird questions. But, nah. I will say, when it comes down to it, most rabbits are pretty good after that first litter. Now, like, oh, who was it? My Californian, was it Hawk or was it Tati? One of them was freaking horrible. She lost like 3 litters before I finally called. I think it was Tati. I think it was Tati I really got sick of. Um, somebody asked me about my Californians today on TikTok. They're like, "What happened to your Californians?" I was like, "I ate them." I still have my lines. A friend down the road has Chow Chow and Freak Jr. So in theory, this summer, they should be having babies, and I can get a pair out of them eventually. So I still have my lines. It's just I had some bad luck. And was it yesterday? I was on live. I was on live TikTok, and we got into the tinfoil hats hardcore because a lot of people are having breeding problems this season, and me too. But if a first time mom does extremely bad, does it count as a strike? Yes. If they do bad, it doesn't matter if they're a first time mom or a 10th time mom, it's a strike. And most of that is I don't want to deal with it. I don't have the time, I don't have the space, I don't have the resources to not count it. Because at the end of the day, no matter. Okay, so it costs the same to feed a good mom compared to a bad mom. It costs the same amount of feed to keep a good animal versus a bad animal. So why would you feed that bad animal and take up space for an animal that could be so much better? Um, so it's one of those things where you just gotta figure out what you're doing and figure out what you want from your breeding. Oh, pardon me. Oh, that was yawn. Figure out what you want from your breeding program, because if you have like 100 cages open and you keep one bad mom, it's not a big deal. But if you only have 3 or 4 cages and you keep a bad mom, that's a lot of space being taken up when we look at percentages to the amount of space you have. You only have 4 cages, you have one bad doe, 25% of your stock is crap. Now, granted, you still have that 75 that's good, but why would you take up that very small space for a bad animal? Um, but yeah, and if you look at it like a commercial setting, they're a lot more strict than I am on their strike rules or if they keep an animal or not. But yeah, I can buy myself up. That song, the Flowers by Miley Cyrus, has been on TikTok for the past few days on like my feed. And normally my feed is a bunch of homesteading stuff, it's a bunch of stuff like that. And the Flower song has just been on play. And like I'll skip through it. It's like I don't wanna hear the song 20 million times. I wanna get back to my homesteading stuff. I wanna get back to my like educational TikTok. And it's just been flowers, flowers, flowers. And it's like, this is great. It's all right. But it's stuck in my head. It's really bad stuck in my head. But create job announcements. All right. Aha. 31. 31 is the magic number. Yes, I verify that all my responses are good to go. Or to the best of my ability. All right, we're gonna do our human resources manager. And then all the other documents I need to add. DD 214. Disability letter. All right, good to go. Continue. I will say one thing I really love about USA jobs compared to like Indeed. Um, with Indeed, it doesn't track what the other people, like the hiring agency, is doing. But with like USA jobs, I can click on my profile and I can go into my applications. Like right now, I have like 22 applications in, and I can see exactly where things are. I can see what's going on, where it's been applied to, when the job is closed for either accepting applications or being accepted for things. So I love that about USA Staffing. What I don't like about USA Staffing is the organizational system of the searches. It doesn't let me search from a standpoint of where I was. So sometimes I go through like um, jobs I've already seen, but it's a minor gripe. I just like to gripe about it. Let's see, let's do 2 ml. I also going to gripe about the sticky sides of my syringe, which I have been using to feed the babies because they stick. Alright, I'm just gonna get fed first. These guys are 5 days old and Nina's milk never came in. And I'm just not hopeful for this litter, to be honest. It's aggravating. Which is frustrating because this pairing was Nina and Wiley, and I was so excited for this litter. Like, words cannot describe how excited. I'll breed some pure New Zealands and get some pork. No better mamas and get kits opposite breed so I don't mix them up. Right. Yes. I will say, if I have to foster babies, like let's say I have 3 moms, they all have babies, and I need to foster some babies and I need to switch them around. Let's say I have some broken kits and some solid kits. I will throw the brokens in with a litter that has 100% solids, and I'll be like, okay, this broken kit belongs to this doe. So instead of like mixing them up or having to like mark them, I can just be like, all the brokens belong to, I don't know, Sadie. And then all of the solids belong to Nina. Or I'll mix up I'll put Mini Rex in with Silver Fox or vice versa. Come here, baby. Hold your head still so I can get that in. I am really, really, really hating the bottle feeding though. Has anyone watched the new Velma series yet on Hulu? I hear it's horrible, and I don't want to watch it, so somebody tell me about it. Because it doesn't have Scooby in it. Oh, we like it. Yay! Yes, please continue to eat like a normal baby off the freaking syringe. Earlier, I was trying to teach them how to drink off the nipple, and they kept fighting me so hard on it. And now they're actually starting to understand eating off the nipple, which is absolutely fantastic. You only ate half a millimeter or milliliter. Come on. More milk for you, little dude. Until they figure it out more on the milk and everything, I don't feed in large amounts just because um, I don't want them to aspirate, and I don't want them to also um, get refeed. How big was the litter? The litter started off one DOA, six alive, but I'm down to two because her milk never came in. And you see, these guys are tiny. They're 5 days old. They should be double the size, but her milk never came in. And six is not a big amount for a silver fox. Like, I see sizes of litters 10 to 15, closer to like the 11 or 12, but six shouldn't be an issue. And I started losing them yesterday morning. And I was like, okay, time to pull out the bottle. And I was doing held feeds because I couldn't just keep the babies in with mom because mom kept kicking. I see you're lurking, man. Um, but mom wasn't keeping them covered. Mom kept uncovering them and scattering them and just not taking care of the babies. So I shelved them because it was getting too cold at night for her to scatter them and me just to go out every couple of hours and check, especially overnight. And so I brought them inside, and then I brought her in 4 times a day to try to jump kick her milk. She was on calf manna, oats, raspberries, um, and yeah, it just nothing I could do could bring her into milk. And like she has milk, right? Like you squeeze the nipple, a little milk comes out, it's good. But she's not producing enough. Like it's just barely coming out. And the babies, even though, I've put them on multiple teats to suckle, I've given them their time, they're just not getting full bellies. So I'm hoping it's a first time mom flu. But she also didn't pull fur. I had to pull the fur for her. So when we talk about frustrations, and like I said, this is my third first time mom that this month that really really wants to get under my skin, but it is what it is. It is the tiniest little things. I know they're not getting as full as they could. If my goal is I just got to keep them alive till my next doe kindles, and then I can throw these two in with another litter. Thanks for all your videos. You've been a great source of information. You helped create a new source of income for me, with the idea of rabbit ear dog treats. I am so happy that it's been so successful for you. Thank you so much. As I say, I try to be. The question is, when I make my videos, it's like, is this a useful video, or am I hyper fixating on a rabbit point? And it's really bad over on TikTok. Like I will get stuck on a very moot, very niche point that I find super interesting. But it's like, is this actually helpful, or did I find a new hyperfixation within my hyperfixation? So it's one of those things where it's like, oops. But I am so happy to, hear that it's helpful for you. And rabbit ear dog treats are amazing. My dogs eat all of mine constantly. I also like doing the hides. So just like with the ears, you strip the hides into like strips, and they also make amazing dog treats. I make those quite often. Like if I have too many hides that I haven't worked recently, when it comes to like making things, like let's say I have like 6 or 7 pelts in the in the closet that still need worked because Madison is super busy and can't do arts and craft time, then I just make dog treats because otherwise, what else am I gonna do? Oh, you're such a good little feeder, little dude. We're just feeding baby bunnies. And I would put it up, but then I can't hold them properly. If they end up being if these guys end up being grand champions, this is out of Nina, so this is out of Kara's lines. If these two end up making it, being grand champions and beating Kara just one time in one class, I'm gonna laugh. And it's gonna be a hysterical, like, lose my mind kind of laugh because this is ridiculous and I hate doing this nonsense. Um, but I will laugh because it is out of Kara's lines, because Nina's from her. And Nina and Wiley together should, in theory, they're either going to create the worst silver foxes ever because they have opposing problems, or they are going to create grand champions because Wiley has SOP perfection type. And Wiley has beat Kara's lines before, which I was flabbergasted. Like I was like I wanted to ask the judge if he was being serious or not because I didn't think Wiley should beat them. Because if you ever get a chance to see Kara compete and see her rabbits, her one rabbit Sansa, absolute perfection. She has been debuting that freaking doe for this past show season, and that doe has been best of breed, best of breed, best of breed, best opposite, best of breed. Hello, blessed with pets. How are you doing, darling? Um, but yeah, so when Wiley beat out one of her bucks, I was like, no. So with having find some judges that are having a good day, right? I the last show I was at, the car show in Colorado, every single judge was just amazing. Oh my goodness. When I say they were all extremely informative, they were extremely helpful, they were all very mellow, just all smiles, easy to talk to and willing to talk to. Like if I stopped a couple of them, I'm like, "Hey, I just wanted to clarify what you're saying because I'm not quite, understanding. What do you mean by this?" And they were more than happy to be like, "Okay, here's what I mean by this. Here's what we're looking at. Perfect." Especially I had a two DQs that day, freaking Cookie and Mercury. And the amount of times we were poking fun at the fact I was getting DQ'd for things, like glorious. Those judges. I hope they're at the next car show because they were great. That was absolutely perfect. Going to 4-H homeschool and meeting tomorrow. I've been trying to get into 4-H forever. 4-H is so much fun. I had so much fun in 4-H. My big thing in 4-H though was horses. That's what I did growing up, like a lot. Missed spam call. Oh well. Who's spam calling me at 7:30 at night? Telemarketers are getting stronger. Um, but But yeah, 4-H was so much fun. I will say now, they have some interesting rules at the 4-H I grew up in. I still have friends back home, and um, I talked to them because they're 4-H advisors back home, and they were saying like one of the rules now is you can't have like silver on your saddles, which is a Western problem. It's not an English. Oh, it was my school district. I don't know why that came up with spam. My email just popped through. Apparently, the kids are already on a 2 hour delay. We have a snowstorm coming in. But if they're on a 2 hour delay, That means I can sleep in, right? 2 hour delay tomorrow. So they go in at 10:20 instead of 8:20. But yeah, so the joys of a snowstorm coming in, which I like this system. I absolutely love the system that they have now compared to the one I had growing up. Because when I grew up, my parents would get up and they'd watch the TV screen. They'd watch the schools go across the screen, and if you missed it, you had to watch it again. And so we would be up anyway. So and then we have to crawl back into bed. Now they send me text messages. So I just open it up on my phone. Oh, school's not in session or school's delayed. Yay. Try to go back to sleep for 30 minutes. Now, does that actually happen? No. I say, oh my gosh, I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. It's not gonna happen. Because what happens is my parrots greet the morning. And then they start talking to each other. Then they start screaming at each other. And then it wakes the dogs up. And when the dogs wake up, the kids wake up. And then we're all up. The TV thing is very much a thing here. I'm telling you, they need to upgrade your system because those text messages come in so clutch. Clutch isn't a thing. Clutch will never be a thing. I need to watch that. Not Mean Girl. Well, I do need to rewatch Mean Girls. Guess what they threw on HBO? They threw on White Chicks on HBO, and that is a comfort movie of mine. My one friend and I used to watch that nearly every single Friday when we were hanging out, and we would always have like a single beer, eat our dinner together. And my friend was very like I could drink a beer, be fine, not a big deal. She would drink the neck of a bottle and get tipsy as hell, and it was hilarious because she would just drink the neck and she would be quoting White Chicks from beginning to end. And oh my gosh, it was always just the best. She can still do that. She can still quote White Chicks beginning to end. But oh, I missed those days. Those were our girls' night. We would sit and watch Disney movies until the kids would go to bed. And once the kids were in bed, we'd watch White Chicks and we would have our single beer and our like dessert of choice for the night. Sometimes it was cake, sometimes it was cookies, but best girls' night ever. Cause we're homebodies, so we don't like doing much. But no, you gotta drink the milk, bud. There we go. Oh, I accidentally got that on his chin. This one does not want to eat like the other one. The other one, like he initially got it, but he's really not. I tried squirrel nipples earlier, and they were not taken to the squirrel nipples very well. So right now I have them on kitten nipples, and they're taking that a bit better. Oh, that was a muscle spasm if there ever was. All right. I'm gonna need to wash my little blanket. Yep, I do. I do. I'm not sure how that happened. My entire hand twitched and my thumb went down and I just squirted myself in the face. So my Holland Lopto was tattooed with pliers before I got her, but you can barely see it except for the rough spots on her skin. Yeah, you can tattoo over it. The biggest rule when it comes to tattoos is that it needs to be legible. Um, it's on the window. Oh, clean the windows later. C'est la vie. But the biggest thing with tattoos, they need to be legible and they can't include anything vulgar. Other than that, it's kind of a free for all. As long as you understand what the tattoo means, I mean, it's up to you and your barn. Some people do something that makes sense to them for their like mine is my barn initials. My mind just went blank. My barn initials, first name of the animal, um, doe or buck, year born. My bucks are odds, so within a litter, right? I'll have buck one, buck one, buck three, buck five, and then I'll have doe two, four, six, that kind of thing. And then on the end is the year. So this year, all of my babies will end in three. Um, I've had other systems in the past, but yeah. If you can't read the tattoo, just re-tattoo it. It's better to re-tattoo if you need to than being DQ'd for a tattoo that can't be read. Um, I have a friend who she puts the name of all of her rabbits in their ear, and her goal is to just get it to fit. So she either does really short names or she gets creative. Um, but yeah. I don't really like clamps all that much when it comes to tattooing rabbits. I like the pens. I have my tattoo pen up here actually. So I like pens. This is my tattoo kit. Um, and I have my like my numbing spray and everything. But my let's see here. My favorite tattoo gun, pen, whatever we're gonna call it, is the All Things Bunny model. Oh no, my nib is nibbed. So like All Things Bunny model, absolutely love it. It's great. The only thing I don't like about it is this part can get stuck at times when you're trying to like unscrew everything. So when you go to take out the nib, which I just dropped, it can stick, which makes it to where you lose the top of your tattoo pen, and then you got to find it later because you dropped it on the floor like a dodo brain. And as long as you don't step on it, you're fine. But you know, it is what it is. Which I got my tattoo filled in, y'all, on my leg, or at least part of it, right? And I don't remember the healing process being as painful as it is. And I say as I pull my leg or my leg sleeve, my leg up and run over the place that's been tattooed. It still hurts. I got it done Friday, and she's still a little tender. She's starting to scab, but like she's healing just like my other tattoos did. But and part of it's on a lower extremity, so the blood's all down there, and it's like pooling and swelling because it's a lower extremity. But man, that's not feel good. I preferred my tattoo artist thinks I'm crazy. I preferred on the shin bone than on the calf. The calf hurt. Shin bone wasn't bad, right? The shin bone it was more vibraty than it was ouchy, if that makes sense. But on the calf, on the meat, it was ouchy. And I'm a person like I, you know, I've had tattoos. I have a lot. I have one on my back. I have multiple on my leg. I have, my wrist done. Like I've had some pretty painful tattoos, and I think the worst is the areas of my calf, which is weird because my ankle is also done and my shin is done. Surprisingly, the bone right here that runs like your collarbone down to this point, this didn't hurt at all. I fell asleep during this. Although at one point, Brandon, my tattoo artist from Louisiana, he hit here and I felt it down here. And because I was asleep, I was super confused. So I like looked over at him like, "Why are you tattooing my elbow?" He's like, "I'm not tattooing your elbow." And I was like, "Nerves, weird." But yeah. Right now the youngest one's tattoo is Paris. I named her that. And the older is Fire Opal, named by the breeder, but I named her Francie. I need a tattoo pen. I don't have a way to tattoo currently. Um, let me see how much those tattoo pens are. Let's go into all things bunny. And it looks like until I get new, now you could risk going to a show and seeing if somebody's tattooing for monies. That's what I do. I'll go to a show with my tattoo kit. I charge, $1 a tattoo, and normally that pays for my entry fees. So you can risk it, but there's not always a tattooer there. Um, let's see, tattoo kits and supplies. So going on to all things bunny, easy pens and supplies. Those aren't tattoo pens. Let's go back to tattoo kits and supplies. Ta-da. I need more numbing spray too. The numbing spray is just fan-freaking-tastic. I also, probably need more ink at some point. I'm gonna get on All Things Bunny here and watch. I need to get, yep, I'm looking up the prices right now for you, hun. Okay, so if you're looking at clamps, just because it's the first thing that popped up while I was skipping through, it looks like a Tattoo Pliers Model 101 just for the clamp is about $60. Just for the clamp. I'm scrolling for the kits. Tattoo Balm. Tattoo Balm is my best friend. Also, my tattoo artist, she was like, "You want to try numbing spray?" And I'm like, "I mean, I guess." So the tattoo pens, just the pens, not the kits, because the kits aren't coming up, which is weird. So I'm gonna go look to see where else. The tattoo pens on their own are $35. So just to give you an idea, if you want to get them, tat ah, I hit the wrong button. Tattoo kit. That's a. They may not have the kits for sale right now. Let me see here. All Things Bunny Tattoo Pen. She's like, "Oh, do you want to try numbing spray?" I'm like, "Sure, I guess." She's like, "Okay, awesome." She has this. She's like, "I have this new one I'm trying, and I'd love to hear what you think about it." So, okay, uh, it's okay. So the kits start at 35, but the question is, the more you add, the more expensive it is. So just keep it in mind, it starts at 35, add things on, it's going to go up. But the kit comes with the bag, the numbing spray, a cleaning kit, some needles. Yeah, definitely. You can also write whatever you want with the clamps as well. It's just a little more difficult. Um, like Strawberry is clamped from his owner, like his breeder, his original. But I have had to go over it with like a pen. What was I saying? She was like, "Yeah, you want to try out some numbing spray?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." That was the weirdest thing. Um, like she sprayed it on my leg, and the parts where like there was already like open skin, my that entire area went like completely numb, and I was like, Mm, I don't like this. Like, I don't like this. And it didn't wear off the entire session, and I'm like, I don't like this. So when we went to the next section, we like nixed it out because I didn't like it. But it definitely worked. Definitely worked. But I wish I could remember what brand it was because I would definitely buy it for my rabbits to use. Because the kind I currently have right now, I'm not a big fan of it because I feel like it doesn't work very fast and it doesn't work very well. But the stuff she used on me, I'm going to have to text her and be like, "Hey, what was that stuff called again?" And I'm going to buy some just for myself for my bunnies because it worked. It was great in that way, but I did not like it. Did not like it at all. Maybe that's weird of me, but it's a thing. I did get though. I finally upgraded my hydrogen peroxide and put it and got one of the spray bottle ones. This has changed my life when it comes to first aid. Because normally I just take my little cotton swab and I'm like, doop, doop, doop. This, all over the place. I love this stuff. This little spray bottle. I was foregoing it because I'm like, oh, it's more expensive. And what if it really sucks? What if the sprayer is because there are different degrees of like good sprayers and bad. The mist on this could rival the best makeup setting spray ever. It's just like this really like fine mist, and it's just so nice. It's so nice, and I should have gotten this way sooner. It also works really well for disinfecting eggs before they go into the incubator. I have some eggs in the incubator behind me. Um, I haven't stared at the incubator in a while. It's doing well. We're still at an appropriate temperature, and the eggs are still turning. I haven't checked it for the day. I should have checked it sooner. And I have 17 more days before my next hatch. I took like a month break from hatching just because getting an appropriate amount of eggs and like moving the hens back into like the garage so that they were laying again. But you know that like huge celadon I got? It's probably a double yolker and it's probably not gonna hatch. I threw it in there because why not? Like that thing was like a chicken egg size, and I was like, I'm gonna hatch that. It's gonna be like a double or a triple yolk. It's not gonna hatch, but I hope it does. And if it does, I will just be absolutely amazed. Absolutely amazed. Um, but yeah, I will say. Can you change what the tattoo says? It currently says H3, but I'd like it to say her name Amy. Like, you can change what it says, but you like would have to kind of play with it to either say that or have that tattoo there and then what you want to tattoo later on. Now, if it's light enough to where you can like tattoo over it, you can. Just remember the biggest thing when it comes to tattooing rabbits is it legible? Because remember, a judge has to be able to read it and be like, okay, this tattoo says Amy, or this tattoo says H3 Amy, or Amy H3, or whatever you want to do with it. And if the letters get really jumbled and they can't read it, they can DQ you. Ask me how I know that other than SOP. I'm not saying Lizzie got DQ'd the first time we put her into show because I put the wrong thing down, but I'm just saying I might be a little dyslexic. I flipped some letters and numbers around, and I got DQ'd for it my first show, and I had to go up to the secretary of the show and beg to get my next entry changed so that I could not get DQ'd the next show because I would cry. They let me. They were very sweet about it, but I was like, ah! I was so upset because she was really great in that competition, and she did really well in the next one, and I was like, I'm dumb. But that happens. Like the amount of times, and I'm not the only one who does it. Like the amount of times, like people I know get DQ'd for something silly. It's so silly. Some of the reasons we get DQ'd. It honestly is. Live chat. I think I missed something. Okay, I didn't miss something. I am just blind and thought I saw something. Executive orders. But yeah, so that's kind of something to keep in mind. Only thing is says H3 on her pedigree. Okay, what are some of the most common DQs? Blessed with pets. You can make her a new pedigree, like out of yours, but you can. Okay, so the biggest thing is are you looking to register her? That's gonna be your biggest thing for like on a pedigree. Um, Most common DQs. Putting a rabbit in the wrong category. So, the sex change fairy comes before show and changes things around. I see that a lot. Off-colored toenails. Um, Off-colored toenails is a big one. Under or overweight. I think she's already registered. If she's already registered, okay, so to show you don't need a pedigree. Now for 4-H, things might be a little different depending on what your classes are and what your local regulations are. Oh, pardon me. Ugh, I'm getting to be an old lady. But it all just depends on what you want to do with her. If you want to change it in the ear because you want to change it in the ear and you're not trying to do anything with the registration and you're keeping her, it's not a big deal. You can remake the pedigree with the understanding that you want to put then she's not a rabbit you bred. Like for instance, Strawberry, I have his pedigree from his previous owner. I wouldn't change it around and be like, oh my gosh, this is my rabbit. Like it's their rabbit, they're the breeders of it. Anyone asks me about it, anyone asks me, hey, where can I get a rabbit like Strawberry, like exactly like him, I'm gonna push him over to Lane. I'm not gonna be like, oh, hey, he's mine and I created that. Now, if they want one of Strawberry's kids, completely different. I'm like, hey, I have something similar to that, but they're out of my lines. But it just depends on what you want to do, and integrity and honesty is always the best way to go. So, now, if you already have a tattooed rabbit, I prefer just keeping it that way, their original tattoo, because I'm lazy. I'm lazy. That's the biggest thing. Ta-da. But yeah, other common DQs. Um, I think another under and overweight are big ones. Um, that's actually really big is under and overweight. See a lot of that with silver foxes being underweight. What else do we have? Those are the biggest ones, to be honest. Weight problems, off colors. Also, I can enter a normal ARBA show with my rabbits, or will I have to enter them in my dad's name since I'm 14 and it's not really a youth thing? ARBA has youth. If you're competing with them and you're going to a show, you would want to enter them as a youth rabbit. You're showing them. If your dad is showing them, then you would have them as a under your dad's name. I have a junior mini Rex. I'm worried he may go senior. I feel that. I've had issues like that before. Like when it comes down to it, like, oh, this thing is 4 months old, senior weight, okay, it's a senior now. Just remember, when it comes to competitions, for those of you who like never competed with rabbits before, you can always go up a weight class. You just can't go down a weight class. Yeah, I prefer them to be chunky over underweight. Underweight is such a pain. Like with Cyrax, keeping weight on her is just so difficult, and it's annoying. But I need that tiny eensy peensy little bit of um itty bitty baby size in my lines because look at Strawberry. But then again, Cyrax is also Strawberry's daughter, and she is so petite. Like, Strawberry is huge, and his daughters are petite, and that's what I want. That's what I was going for. But yeah. If you hear my husband, he is playing his video games. I get to play on my lives. He gets to play with his friends on, I think they're playing Fortnite. This is a big thing. He loves Fortnite. Let's see here. Advise. I'm good at advising. Like I said, I'm trying to like be um oh, what is it? I forgot the word. Efficient? No, not efficient. Maybe it is efficient. Trying to get multiple things done at once. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, is it going to work because I keep getting distracted? Maybe. I've gotten 3 resumes in. I only have low quality, non-pedigreed mini Rex buck, and the does are show quality and pedigreed. I'm hoping their kits are decent. So you can have like 2 not Grand Prix, that's horses, Grand Champion rabbits, and their entire litter is DQs. Just like you can have 2 DQ rabbits and they can produce an entire litter that's Grand Champion quality. Now, do those things happen often? No, it's going to be a mixed bag. So for instance, Sadie. Sadie should technically be a DQ as an amber, I do believe. I entered her as a caster because I didn't know she was an amber. I thought she was a caster. Let me see if amber is even a color. But long story short, Sadie should have been in DQ. She has a best of group, best of variety on her. How she got a best of variety as a caster, I don't know. Because she was up against other casters and she's still placed best of that. That's Rex. I need mini Rex. But mixing her with Strawberry, I have gotten some amazing babies out of her. But I've also gotten some crappy babies out of her too. And it has nothing to do with their color because Strawberry kind of fixes that coloration. Let's see here. Colors allowed in mini Rex. I think it's an Agouti color. It is an Agouti self-shaded Agouti caster. Yeah, Amber isn't a color in minis. And I put her in as a caster. So she should be a DQ, and she still creates beautiful babies. How big is your Standard of Perfection book? I thought they were supposed to be bigger, but mine's tiny. It's this big. Um, I don't have any covers on it anymore. It's just it's beat to hell. Well, this is beat to hell. It's all kinds of warped and messed up, but I always have it available because sometimes I am here. Ooh, did you get the Angoras we were talking about? What'd you do, Dylan? What'd you do? I need to know. Because if you're ahead of me on getting those Angoras, I'm gonna need to pick up 2 Angoras. It's gonna be glorious. I'm going to get an Angora, just you wait. But you need to tell me what you did. Bunny friends, what did you do? I want to do that. Uh, but ooh, okay. Appropriate disciplinary techniques. I've done that before. Development, development, development. It is a Tuesday night and I am tired. Like, we're not even half. 5 processed rabbits for 20. Ooh, Bob Whites. That's exciting. I like Bob Whites. They're cool. I have Catornics though. Um, but that's exciting. Quail are so much fun. Like, they're so much fun. Um, I will say though, with Bob Whites compared to Catornics, I don't think Bob Whites have enough color for my taste. Buck is a blue fawn tricolor, and my does are all reds. One of them has a background of only reds, and the other has some broken reds. What do you think I could get out of them? Reds. It depends on what they're carrying. Like, if we're talking genotype versus phenotype, right? So phenotype is what they physically look like. Um, red, if I'm not mistaken, is an agouti or is it a self? I might be wrong on this. Let me check. But I'd expect reds. But I don't know the EJ gene very well, which is the gene over Tri because Tri is just a broken Harlequin. I can't remember. I know it's a partial dominant, but if we're talking genotype versus phenotype, I'd expect reds. Um, let's see here. I can find lots of flowers. Castor, Lynx, Opal. Maybe I need to go to Rex. Go a little further. There's Amber. I'm not missing a page, am I? That'd be absolutely ridiculous if I was going through my book and realized I completely was missing a page on Opal Otter. Now I feel like I need to look this up because it's not. I'm not missing a page, am I? I'm having trouble understanding the ABCs about bunny color book. What are you having issues with it? Because color genetics is just, it can be confusing at times. Like, for instance, the C gene is not my friend. Alright, so amber, black, blue, broken, castor, chin, chocolate lilac lynx, opal, otter, sable white. What is a freaking red? I just need to grab my other book of reference. I thought reds were loud on Mini Rex. Maybe I'm wrong. I also don't show reds. Live chat. There we go. Just all the genotypes. So it just takes a lot of memorizing. Especially because when you look, you have the A, B, C, D, E gene, and then you also have the SI gene, you have the EJ gene, you have the EN gene, and all of it kind of works together, right? So let me finish this and we can get into some quick color genetic discussions, but I need more labor agreements and bargaining techniques. Because the biggest thing is, remember, A I watched the Rabbit Show channel about genetics, and it was super helpful with the printable. Yes, the if y'all don't follow the Rabbit Show channel, I love that channel. That channel is just full of amazing, great information. I love, 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 love that channel. But so when you have A, it's the hair shaft pattern. So you have a goody, you have the black and tan gene, also known as the otter gene, and then you have the self. It was super helpful since I decided to start with you started tries. Tries are their own special monsters, especially when you're dealing with like the Harlequin gene. Um, but oh my goodness. I love tries. I think they're beautiful, don't get me wrong, but gosh darn are they annoying. Um, I found myself flowers. So when you have the A gene, which is hair shaft pattern, you go into the gene, which is color base, which is black or chocolate. C has to do with pigmentation of the hair. D has to do with the dilution of the hair, which is different than the pigmentation. Um, and then once you get past the D gene, once you get into the E gene, it has to do with the pattern itself. And then when you get into like the SI gene, that has to do with silvering. Most rabbits don't have anything to do with the silvering gene because the silvering gene is partially dominant. But for the most part, it'll be dominant over most colors in a peer. So normally it's just not. It's just little SI, little SI. And then with the Harlequin gene, um, like I said, that's its own special monster as well. So all of those things work together to create colors. So you have to memorize each genetic lotus to understand how things work together. So I suggest starting with the B and the D gene. They're the easiest gene, although people mix them up for each other, um, which is slightly annoying at times. Not like normal people, but like people who are trying to like educate on that matter, and then they convolute what B and D do because they work hand in hand, yes, but there's a huge difference between a diluted black base and a diluted chocolate base. A diluted black is a blue, whereas a diluted chocolate is a lilac. And people will mix those up and kind of play with them, especially when we're talking about genotype versus phenotype. Phenotype being what the rabbit looks like genetically, and genotype being exactly what the rabbit is underneath the colors. And that's when we talk about like breeding true to a color versus not breeding true. Yeah. Color genetics is so much fun and like really interesting to learn, but there is a lot to learn. Like I said, with like the C gene, I'm still not having fun with it. Uh, rights and responsibilities. Fact finding. Yep. 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 But I will say, um, learning about chocolate chinchillas for the first time, hurt my brain and it hurt my heart because I did not want chocolate chinchillas, but Alpha is a chocolate carrier. Did not like that Alpha was a chocolate carrier. That was the first time that I was upset that I found out one of my rabbits was a chocolate carrier. But chocolate chinchillas are pretty. Not an approved color, but pretty. But consensus. Civilian. Okay. But yeah, union grievances. I hate one of the things I hate as a human resource specialist is just unions in general. Not because there's anything wrong with unions, just because it's a whole new regulation to learn, and each union has its own structure and rules and regulation systems that have to be learned. So it's just extra on top of the laws, and it hurts my brain sometimes. But I know there's a need for them a lot of times. But gosh darn, is it annoying just because it's more things to learn and put on top of the stuff. It's more stuff on stuff. A lot of these questions are you good at confrontation? I don't like confrontation, but I can deal with it efficiently. Alright, that's done. I think that's the. I gotta see if any more are due by tonight. Let's see. Resume. DD 14. And VA letter. And continue. Alright. I need to get off here and I need to like go do barn chores. Oh, I missed something on the assessment. Oops, my bad. There we go. I don't want to go do barn chores. I know there's a crap ton of snow outside. That wasn't there earlier. But I need to go do barn chores. I don't want to go do barn chores, but I need to go do barn chores. And if I'm going to go do barn chores, it'll be cold. But I also need to go pull eggs and go put them in the fridge because my husband's like, we never have eggs. Like, we have eggs. The quail lay like 3 dozen eggs a day. And he's like, yeah, but you're always putting them into the incubator. And it's like, yeah, of course I am. Sorry, my dad has me doing some so it's space swapping. He laughs so hard. I love it. Um, but yeah, so don't want to go outside. It's cold and it's wet. I haven't finished my series on color genetics because I got to the C lotus and I don't feel comfortable enough to teach on the C lotus, but I'm also too OCD to skip it and go to the D lotus. I need to. But also, every time I look back on my genetic videos, I cringe because it was when I was first starting YouTube and those videos are bad. Like, my videos now aren't great, but they're not as bad as they were. But once I need to either get over it and just do something on the D Lotus, or I need to become more proficient in the Sea Lotus because I understand. Like, if I'm sitting with somebody, I'm like, yeah, here's how the Sea Lotus works. Let's talk about chinchilla dark, chinchilla light. Albino. Let's talk about how the pigmentation is affected through the hair shaft and why they look a certain way. Okay, we can talk about that. But sitting down and creating like a coherent video about the Sea Lotus is and is I don't feel comfortable enough with it yet. So, especially when it comes to the albino gene and just how the albino gene works in cohesion with everything else. So, because all the albino gene is the lack of pigmentation, but just because something is albino doesn't mean it isn't a carrier of a bunch of stuff. So, speaking of which, I want a Rue Silver Fox. The Rabbit Show genetic video didn't get too in depth on the sea either. I wish they would do another advanced on the sea, Brokens and Harlequins. And that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid. Is I don't want necessarily to just like glaze over the sea lotus. I want to get into I want to be able to create genetic videos that are in depth enough to where you don't necessarily need to go and look up more. They're cohesive and you can understand all of it. Now, do I also want to make like a 3 hour long video on just lecturing on color genetics so it's also all in one spot and I can put those cool little like tabs that you can click on in the middle of the video? Yes, that's in the works too. Because once I get my color genetics series done and breaking it up, I would love to redo it in one cohesive video. So I have my little snippets from the beginning of my channel, and then I have a cohesive, like very educated. I forgot the word. Educated, descriptive video that's like you can throw up for a bunch of 4-H kids and they can pick it up. But also, then we're gonna have to get into genotypes and phenotypes and doing Punnett squares and how total dominant or partial dominant genes works. Like I said, when I say it's gonna be a 3-hour long video, I'm not kidding. Like it's a 3-hour long video, it'd be insane. Why don't you redo A and B? Because I haven't finished C, D, and on. That's why I haven't redone them yet. Do separate videos much easier to follow than in different files. Plus, people would be able to do them in time frames. It sucks sitting down for 3 hours to watch the rabbit show. Am I the only one that likes putting? So I love long videos, right? I listen to lectures and that kind of thing, like in the background while I do things. So I love long format videos. It's like right now I'm watching a long format video critiquing Olympus lore on webtoons and getting into it from, not only a sociology standpoint, but an arts degree standpoint and a storytelling standpoint and comparing it to the source material to how it is. And it's a 3-part video and the videos are 3 hours long each. And it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it. I've been listening to it as I've been working. Is there somewhere I can download a pedigree? I can type my own information. The ARBA has those things, or you can create them on Excel. I don't mind them getting too many York saucies and blue healer to leave me alone long enough. I feel that. I feel that. I don't want to waste my time with this one. This one, it's remote, but they want you to be in Texas, and I'm not moving to Texas. I like Colorado. I will stay here. I don't see anything else due tonight. Anything else? 19, 19, 20, 25, 43, 120, 131. Okay, I think I got everything done for tonight. Yes, it is snowing. We have a snowstorm coming in, and I'm not happy about it. All right, I'm gonna try to feed this baby bunny again. The one that, well, I probably will try feeding them both. Just one last time, then I'll call it a night. Because I just want to get a little more milk into their bellies. We do 6 to 10 inches right before the show. Shoo, that's a good bit. I'm not sure how much we're supposed to get. My husband pays attention to the weather. I do not. Alright. I know there's a snowstorm coming in. That's about it. Now, whether or not the snowstorm is like a big snowstorm or not is a completely different question. Alright, babies. Let's get some milk into you a little more and then call it a night here. I will say, if these guys turn into grand champions, maybe I got bottle feeding all my babies. What part of Colorado are you in? Just above the springs. These are Nina's babies. She never, her milk never came in. So, I am bottle feeding what's left of that litter. Which is unfortunate because this was supposed to be my rock star litter. But it's okay because I'm going to do that pairing again. We are going to do a Nina and Wiley pairing again, and I am hoping that pairing will do better next time. I went to the sea out in the mountains located in Cattle Climb. I laughed so hard I literally felt like Joan through a lot of these places around here, they look like Hallmark movies. When we're driving out to Aspen, it's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And there are a lot of cows. There are a lot of cows. There we go, baby. All right. We've got a Holland Loft litter due the 25th and a Mini Rex litter due the 5th. Nice. Oh, look at the full belly. Oh, that's so wonderful. I hope so too. I loved hauling up there. Used to plant in Greeley a lot. Greeley's nice. I like Greeley. Greeley is a very nice area. All right, got a nice little full belly there. Let's get 2 more ml in this one. And that should be good for the night, at least for these two. Still gotta go feed everyone else, though. I hate bottle feeding babies. Alright. He hungry, but I would rather try to feed them than not try, so. But I do like when moms actually feed their babies more appropriately. Mm. Um, because it's a Tuesday, and Tuesdays are almost as draining as Mondays. I don't start feeling my energy come up till about Thursday when it's almost the weekend. Or at least that's my opinion on the matter. Like Tuesday, you're still like gearing up for the week. And then once you start gearing up for the week and getting into the rhythm of everything, it's a lot easier to deal with. Oh, we're a little slower on a feed on this one. So if I can just get these guys through the night, continue to bottle feed them. That's it. I just got to get them through the next week so that I can get them on a mom. You're the kid I fed earlier that was not in the face. I had my first litter due the 28th. Her sister was supposed to breed at the same time, but the sister was evil. I feel that. That's Emma versus Lizzie right there. Both of them ended up being horrible mothers, but Emma is a lot nicer than Lizzie. You are such a good little nurser, buddy. I love when the babies actually take really well to the nipple, because then I don't have to struggle as much. And we can just go one little cc at a time. Alright. That's a nice fuller belly. Alright. I nurse with a mixture of kitten milk, heavy whipping cream, Kiro syrup, however you pronounce that, a probiotic. I think that's it. My friend, who is a vet tech, has a different recipe she uses that's like kitten meal replacer and egg yolk. That works well for her. I like the mixture I use, but both are decent mixtures and have had great success for each of us. I just find that this mixture has done me a little bit better in smaller amounts. So with this, I feed less of it compared to the egg and kitten milk meal replacer. So yeah, other than that, like I said, I hope these guys just make it through the night. We'll try Nina again. I'll continue trying Nina to see if her milk came in until like I don't know, till I give up, I guess. But the goal is that she starts producing milk and I can just feed these guys 2 to 3 times a day with her because it's less difficult to get them to attach to a real nipple compared to a kitten nipple, kitten bottle nipple, I guess it would be. But let's see. These will be my third and fourth litters. It's been so long. I feel that like I have a slight break, like a week-long break, and I'm like, it's like I haven't had babies in the longest. These guys are only 5 days old, and I'm like, I haven't had babies in forever. It's like, what do you mean you haven't had babies in forever? It hasn't even been a week, and I'm like sitting here like, babies. All right, checking my emails one last time. I don't see anything interesting. E-bubble. I don't know what e-bubble is. It's like a news thing. But anyway, y'all, I need to go feed my animals. I need to go bear the snowstorm. But thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I gotta go feed everyone. Um, and I am dreading it, so I need to like pick up the pace and go do that. So again, thank y'all all so much for hanging out with me. Yes, I love chatting. Either here or TikTok, I will talk your ear off. So I appreciate having people to talk to. I really enjoy talking to y'all. So yeah, of course, of course. I love talking to you, blessed pets. I know we are ships in the wind a lot and we pass each other. Um, anyway, y'all have a great night. I'm going to go ahead and get off here, and I hope y'all have a good one. Bye.